Hello again! It's been a while since I uploaded a video, so I've decided to start a summoner playthrough, where the challenge is to remain pacifist while letting my summons do all the damage for me. I realise this has been done before, and I strongly recommend you check out Ningishu's playthrough, which I've drawn a lot of inspiration from. I've linked it in the description. The character I'm using is softcore. Before this I attempted a standard hardcore run on expert, but I died after 3 hours to a devourer in the corruption. Although I'll try my very best not to die, I'm choosing to have the reassurance that I can continue if I do. Since I'm unable to deal damage before acquiring a summoner weapon, the start of this playthrough is quite slow, so the entirety of this video is sped up to varying degrees. You've probably noticed that this video is 720p. I recorded at 1440p, but the free version of the editing software I'm using only allows exports at 720p. If I use the pro version in the future, I might re-upload this video. As usual, I start by building some temporary NPC housing with the hopes of gaining a merchant and demolitionist by the end of the first day. The merchant sells the bug net, which is vital to acquiring our first summoner weapon. He also sells a sickle, which is a great source of building blocks. The requirements for having these two NPCs is to have 50 silver and an explosive in your inventory. This is usually quickly achieved by some shallow exploration of our newly generated world. I'll also take this opportunity to mine as much iron ore as I can. The reason for this will become clear in the future. Although unharmed lions are not aggressive on the surface, they can become an issue when venturing underground. The wood I got earlier can be used to block them off. I'll be doing this a lot, which is why the sickle comes in handy. Breaking grass on the surface with a sickle produces many hay blocks, which can be used for exactly this. I'm also aiming to collect 15 gems to craft into a grappling hook, as well as opening each and every chest I see. As a summoner, evasion is our specialty, so every movement accessory is welcomed. Of course, it's also wise to collect cobwebs, which can be crafted into silk for beds and a robe. I got lucky here and I managed to collect an existing anvil, which saved me 5 iron. It's already apparent that even caverns exploration is tedious as a pacifist. Luckily our merchant arrived, so I won't be spending much longer underground. Unfortunately our demolitionist chooses to remain absent. It's not a huge deal, I can spend the night collecting fireflies. During the day, I collected the aglet and a radar. The aglet will slightly increase our movement speed, and the radar lets us know how many enemies are nearby. Both are nice to have, but will be replaced in the future. Given the presence of NPCs, and the hole on the ground to our right, the night is fairly calm, allowing me to collect many fireflies to be used as bait. I realise the sound of the bug net can get annoying, so allow me to distract you with some sick beats. Alright, that was fun, but back to collecting hay blocks and any worms and grasshoppers I see along the way. It's probably a good time to tell you what the goal of this episode is. The reason that I've been prioritizing collecting bait is that I'm going to be spending a lot of time fishing. I need to collect a rare item called the Reaver Shark, which can only be obtained through fishing in the ocean. The Reaver Shark is a type of pickaxe strong enough to mine hellstone, which we need to craft our first summoner weapon, the Imp Staff. Of course, that will require descending into the underworld, but I'll leave that to the next episode. For now, the focus is collecting iron, breaking heart crystals, and opening chests. I'm about to find the Snow Biome. This isn't interesting on its own, but it does indicate that this is the direction of the dungeon, and that the jungle biome is on the opposite side. We also know that our world evil is the corruption. This is quite lucky because it means that we can acquire the worm scarf accessory, which will increase our survivability, while the significant bonuses of the Crimson are no longer viable to us because we're a pacifist. my third night, I was presented with a blood moon. Normally I'd be grateful, but since I can't kill anything, my night wouldn't turn out to be very eventful. So I decided to put up some walls and hunker down with my NPCs. After a while I got bored and let in some dripplers. I was lucky enough to get a shark tooth necklace after the second drippler my NPCs defeated. This was surprising since the drop chance is 1.33%. I closed the hole after this and sat out the rest of the night. The first thing I wanted to do the following day was to explore the rest of my closest cave, and then check out the right side of my world. I still wasn't satisfied with the amount of bait and iron I had, so I made sure to collect more as I did. The desert can be difficult. Many enemies can be avoided by building a platform above them, but the antlion swarmers can't be avoided, so I recalled. The same can be said for the corruption, however, it's easier to trap the Eater of Souls and bridge over the chasms. I could have spent another night collecting bait, but I decided to finally put the iron to good use and craft some minecart tracks. These tracks will be used to create a convenient rail system to and from the dungeon and our spawn. I soon stumbled upon my first floating island. It contained a shiny red balloon. I would have preferred the lucky horseshoe, but I can't complain. I ran out of tracks just short of the dungeon. I checked to see if there were any unexplored caves I could try for iron, but without any convenient ones, I moved on to plan B. I bought as many bombs as I could from the demolitionist and started on my elevator, a giant tunnel into the underworld. I figured it needed to be done and that I'd get enough iron this way to finish my rail system. I ended up finding an extractinator which solved my iron issue, allowing me to complete the work on my rail system. I knew I was finally close to setting up fishing at the ocean to make use of all of the bait I'd been amassing until now. I'd planned to land in water, but a harpy had knocked me aside. Luckily I grappled the ground so I didn't take full damage. The dungeon's flooded, but that's a problem for another day. I built a fishing platform and coincidentally learnt that NPCs can drown. Sorry, Simon. It started raining just in time for my fishing session. If you didn't know, rain provides a 20% bonus to fishing power. Unfortunately, what followed was some of the worst fishing luck I have ever experienced, and it honestly baffles the mind. The travelling merchant arrived at some point, and I figured I'd try my luck at purchasing the sitting duck's fishing pole if he was selling it, since it provides a large bonus to fishing pile. Unfortunately, he wasn't, so I returned to my fishing post. After an hour of fishing and all my bait used up, I'd amassed 6 swordfish, 4 sawtoothed sharks, and a balloon pufferfish, but no reaver shark. To put this in perspective, each sawtoothed shark has the same chance to appear as the reaver shark, and a balloon pufferfish has a chance of 1 in 625, compared to the reaver shark's 1 in 100. Suffice to say, I was done for the day. The next day I returned to Terraria. I needed to farm some more bait, but as soon as I had, I got back to fishing. There was a slight hiccup after the king slime naturally spawned. Since I had no way to attack it, and it would teleport with me if I mirrored away, I waited until it showed up and then I left the game. Luckily, it didn't take long to get the reaver shark this time.